Hello! Hello!
Hi!
Hello. I am Safi.
I'm Fifi.
And we're here today to talk to you about sex parties.
Sex parties.
Sex parties. Sex parties. How sex parties can be more inclusive of non-white people and the queer community.
Yay! Thank you, Hacienda, for asking us to make this video. Hacienda is a sex-positive intentional community in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Hacienda was my introduction into all things polyamorous, non-monogamous, kink, and sex parties.
Sex positivity, sex parties, polyamory, kink, all the things that come with that are very taboo already within society. Which is why we think it's really important to acknowledge, to address some of the issues that may come up within an already kind of other society.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These are one of the places we open our eyes and all of a sudden realize
it's mad Caucasian
oh
in this
my
bitch.
God.
Typically the only or one of the very few non-white people in these spaces. And that's an unfortunate circumstance. So here you can use this video as a guide to the do's and the don'ts of interacting with non-white people and queer people in a sex party scenario. We're talking about the leading up with intrigue. We're talking about when you don't know someone, whatever, you don't have rapport, how to interact and engage with these people who may look different than you do.
a common way of making an introduction to someone that you might be interested in is offering them a compliment. So one thing you don't want to do with a non-white person is use the words wild, exotic, or anything that could be used to describe a foreign animal.
When you say to the only non-white people in the room that you're so exotic, oh my God, your hair is so wild. First of all, my first thought is, have you said that, I don't know, to the white guy with dreads? Because that's pretty foreign.
Yo, don't set us apart any further with compliments like that.
Don't say, I've always wanted to be with, insert race,
Right.
I've always fantasized, insert race, or I've never been with, insert race. I promise you, it is not that different, unless you think we are different than you. It's really about checking yourself, and your motives. It's totally fine to be attracted to someone of a different race, a non-white person. We're not saying white people stay away. Right, no. But when you make that so obvious, it's aggro, bro.
It just makes it clear that I am there for your weird racial fantasy.
Which is problematic as fuck.
Don't do that.
Playing on black masculinity, being primal, aggressive, BBC. If for all of you who don't know what that is, I know you're on Pornhub. It's my big black cock. Which, there's a bunch of problems with that. Not all black men have big dicks, so that's shamey and weird to people with small dicks. Not all black men in general, have dicks at all. Literally, no.
Might not have one.
It's the same with black women having big asses. Latino women are voluptuous and curvy.
Don't make bodily stereotypes based on race.
Right.
Comments like that are racist.
Don't use words like feisty, sassy. This is more towards black and Latina men and women. She's so sassy. She's so feisty.
Unless we've already agreed that I am your bratty sub and you can talk to me that way. Another question that I've gotten or that non-whites get, what are you?
It's crazy because it's a play party. There's so many fun things to talk about, like kinks, bids, boundaries, intentions, desires. There's so many other openings that you can revert to besides talking to us about the fact that we look different than you.
Right. Safi and I have very separate experiences of sex parties.
Based on the fact that Sophia and I present very differently, I'm not particularly cis-passing. I identify as transmasculine. My intro to sex parties was within a queer-centered sex party. The reason being that I feel and felt more comfortable being around bodies that were more similar to mine or different the same way my body was different. It's not to say that I don't want to be in spaces with cis heteronormative people at all. I'm a cuckold. I like all genitalia. I like all bodies, whether it is being done to me or I'm watching it happen. Just so we're clear, when I would find myself in heteronormative parties, besides the fact that I'm black, also the fact that I'm very androgynous in my presentation, I found myself like being asked questions that are super invasive by people that I didn't really establish wanting to have sex with. So I don't know why you're asking me about my...
If we're not gonna fuck, don't ask me about my genitalia.
Yeah.
Also, just do your research before you go up to somebody and ask really weird, invasive questions.
Yeah, it makes me feel really set apart. It makes me feel not comfortable in my body in these spaces. But I want to share those spaces. I would like to be invited. I would like to feel comfortable in those spaces. So, ways that you guys can be better about that are, here's a list of do's and don'ts regarding gender identity and sexual preference at a play party. Do, ask everyone their pronouns.
Not just androgynous people.
Right. You do not know how someone prefers to be referred to.
Especially if you're asking us both while we're together at the same time. Ask everyone if you're going to ask someone in a group. Don't make assumptions about people's sexual preferences. As a femme-presenting cis woman, been in situations where people have assumed that I wanted to have sex with them. Mostly cis men, because I am how I present.
They don't ask me if I want to have sex with them. What if I want a good dick down by a cis man?
Make that a part of your sex party etiquette. What do you prefer? What are your preferences? What do you like? What kind of people do you like?
It is totally fine to be in awe. I've had compliments about the way I present that were really wholesome and beautiful, but making a spectacle, ogling. Oh, look at this freak with the muscles, but then the boobs. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's so cringe, dude. Like, don't do that. Don't make it weird.
Yeah.
We already feel weird. I go to sex parties and sex positive spaces to feel more at home.
Yeah.
So when y'all doing that, it hurts my feelings, bro.
And I'm tired. I'm like, damn, yo, like, I really came out here to try and have a good time.
And I'm feeling like, honestly, so attacked right now.
I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
why did I even? I'm never fucking coming here again.
And there was one time I came home from a play party and I was like, it's over. I'll never be, like, I will just become a monk.
It's heartbreaking because I know we can do better.
We're not telling you guys to be like, I don't see gender, I don't see color, people, there's only one race human. Like, none of that. It's helpful, actually, to address diversity and inclusivity without being like, I don't see any of these things. We're asking you guys to celebrate identities and bodies that don't look like yours without fetishizing them, like simply, without making a spectacle, without ogling them, without being like, what?
Right.
Like, it's weird.
This is such a great opportunity. I'm just really excited about these spaces that are so special to me becoming safer and more inclusive.
Well, thank you, Hacienda, for inviting us to have this conversation with you guys. We hope to continue it. And if you liked what you heard, if you learned something new, share it. Follow us on Instagram.
Subscribe.
Follow Hacienda on Instagram. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.